safe here. The Eagle has landed.
Check 1, check 2, check 3. Here we go. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming to you live. Well, not live, you know the internet and how it works. You put it up there and then you can listen to it when you want. But right now, I am alive, and so are you. If the sound is going into your ears, this is the Cannabis Coffee Hour podcast. The best podcast that has ever been recorded. Well, in my opinion, the freshest, the dopest. I got a great cup of, this is cannabis tea. What this is green tea. This is a hemp tea from Lancashire, in Pennsylvania, hemp company. Check them out. They sent me in it. I love it. This is sun-grown hemp. But I put it in a mason jar. They gave me this big fat bag of green hemp that literally smells beautiful, like sun-grown cannabis. But it doesn't have any super THC for my knowing. It's mostly CBD. I don't think it's that psychoactive. But I tried some and it does warm my soul. So I'm looking to do a super positive vibe podcast today. And you know, the world is tough, but things are moving and changing. And what I'm learning is all the work that I've done in the past, you know, is to, you know, not coast, but I set my rudder to the right direction, and the right direction is the Cannabis Coffee Hour. And thank you for listening. With legalized cannabis and art, this is what this podcast is all about. It's me opening myself up and talking about life and shit that, you know, I vibe on, you know. And one of the things I vibe on is this green tea, but I like to mix shit up. So I had a mason jar. I put all that hemp in it, and then I had this fresh green tea that I got for my wife for Christmas, but she didn't like it. But it was like super fancy, like dope, you know, antioxidant supreme green tea. So then I pumped that in a jar with the cannabis. And then my cousin gave me some like crazy artisanal tea that had like rose pelts. It was a chamomile with like real roses in it and shit from this place, New Paltz, New York, upstate, brah. Upstate New York, there's some serious hippie shit. So there was this like hippie town, and he knows that I like kind of hippie shit. I like a good, head shop. I like some arts and crafts. I like some artisanal coffee. Avocado toasted all day. People rag on hipsters and all that shit. But I do like avocado. I don't think it should cost $9, $12, $15. But when you're in the mood for some shit like that, it hits the spot. You know, I'm not a vegan. I'm not into any labels. That's the one thing about Tibetan Buddhist or just Buddhist. One of the things that I drew from it was the naming. The naming of things begin the suffering. And really, we are one organism, you know, breathing and moving on this earth together. Air, oxygen connecting to molecules of trees and grass and human beings and animals and oceans, all together as one organism. And when you start naming shit, it's like, but you know, that's what I've been thinking about, the ego. And I went down a wormhole of how to spot a narcissist. Because there are super narcissists in my business, man. It's crazy. And I think I may have a little bit. I mean, I think everybody that's in the entertainment business has a little bit of it. I don't even know what it is. It is a label and it is naming of something. But some of the things that I was listening to, I just know, like, I was thinking about politics and entertainment. Like, it does take, like, the dicks rise to the top. Not all the time. The good people rise too. But there is a fraction of it that's set up to, like, if you're ruthless, you know. This is this hemp. It's very green tasting. And I like how it's been having a good day. And I went through a whole French press of coffee. I apologize for this podcast coming out on Friday. I usually get it up and done by Thursday, but I did have a music project. I had some serious studio time I had to take care of. So I was in the studio making some music. That was a lot of fun, man. Sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes it goes good. Yesterday was a productive day on the music front, and that project will be out soon. I know I've been talking about it a lot, but that's what you got to do with these things. You kind of have to, like if you're writing stand-up material, you kind of have to obsess about stand-up. You got to go out and perform. People are like, how you do it, Rob? No, you go out. You go out. You go to open mic. You write some crap, write some funny stuff on a piece of paper, and you look at it. You're like, uh-huh. And then you go up there and you try to pull it off. That's how I did it. But then I remember the first few times I was just too raw. And I would get laughs, but when I saw like W. Kamau Bell, this was in San Francisco, and especially Arj Barker. I just want to give a shout out to comedian Arj Barker, one of the best stand-up comics ever, in my opinion. Joke writer, definitely. Top tier of a joke writer. But he's big in Australia, and he's in the Australian scene, and he lives over there. He was on Flight of the Conchords. But yeah, the European, and then there's a whole stand-up scene in London, and who's that guy from HBO? I don't know. He was in Daily Show. I know it's a huge, I know he's a big dude. I know that show. What is it? Shit. Oliver. Yeah, he came from that scene, kind of that London one-liner joke. Jimmy Carr, there's like a couple of those cats that came from that scene, and it's very joke-writey, very disciplined. And a lot of stand-up, you got to be disciplined. I don't know. I'm disciplined, but I'm also a little rough around the edges, and that's how I like it. But I'm also changing and evolving and trying to be a better me than yesterday. I chopped up some slices of apple. These are Honeycrisp apples. I shined it, man. And then it's all about how you slice it. With apple slices, a lot of it is the cut. Oh, you feel that crunch? That's Honeycrisp, baby. Honeycrisp, you can't fuck around. I got some green tea here. Tons of antioxidants. I'm double vaxxed. I've been stretching. Today I didn't stretch. Today I did some help. I helped a person move some rugs and furniture around, so that was my big morning. But it was like, yo, can you help me at 8:30? I was like, yeah. But I like helping. It's good to help people. It's a good way to exercise. And also, don't complain about it. Just do it and then move on. It's when they have you hang out a little too long. If somebody asks you some help to move. Helping with moving, I would say maybe 2 hours. Or your really good friend, you might have to help them out. Do a serious move. Moving's a trip. But I think life is changing and everybody's kind of living more and more, what's the word? Like, you don't need that much shit. I know minimalism, everybody I talk to is just tired of crap. And it bums me out. Like, a lot of these Brooklyn great real estates get bought out by, like, huge storage companies. And people just store their fucking junk everywhere. I'm proud to say I do not have a storage locker. I know some musician friends that have like 3 storage lockers of like old equipment and beat machines and fucking all kinds of shit. I got nothing. I got it down to this Focusrite, this Shure SM58. Oh man, I like this microphone. I know it's not the best on the market, but it reminds me of doing stand-up comedy. And I'm doing this as a solo podcast, everybody. I actually rolled a great spliff and it's mostly CBD with a little bit of THC cannabis. That's my move. That's my move is a nice rolled spliff with a little bit of both to even it all out. I can't find my lighter, so I have to use real kitchen matches. So this will have a cool audio effect. So we'll fire this up. But how you guys been doing? I've been doing good. There you go. Nice. Nothing better than a nice kitchen match right to the joint. Beautiful, beautiful. Another thing is I'm not too intimidated, and it tastes great because it's mostly CBD, which gives you more of a relaxed, calming effect. But if I do fall asleep, so I got a half and half spliff and some green tea, hemp green tea. So yeah, this is gonna be a fully hemped out episode. This is all sun grown. Antioxidants in the system. That's that tea is good, and so is this split. Wanted to say R.I.P. to Shock G, the original Humpty Hump from the hip hop group Digital Underground. If you don't know Humpty Hump is possibly, I mean, it might be one of the most perfect hip hop songs ever. There's few people that really understand, hip hop. To me, the good hip hop or the shit that pops. I mean, I like some M.O.P. I like some, grimy 90s shit. Some of it's all right. I really like, what's that? Not Protect Your Neck, but what's that? What? Damn, I forget. It's Take These Jones. Take These Jones. It's shouting. It's a very aggressive song, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just, you want that. Sometimes you want a little bit of aggressive music, and sometimes you want a little bit of chill. But in terms of hip hop, like one pocket of hip hop is humor, goof style, funky, make everybody laugh. I mean, that's the real pocket, and that's the hardest pocket to consistently be in. And Humpty Hump, the Humpty Dance, was literally, just the joint, man. It was funky. It was funny. It was hilarious. He was a character. He wore what is that guy? Groucho Marx glasses and a funky jacket. I mean, he was doing the thrift store funk way before everybody. That is, I mean, I know that Oakland vibe, and a lot of times, Oakland and the Bay Area, you can freak it out a lot more. And those guys were freaky, they would dress wild, put on parties, goofball style. The beats are funky, the rhymes are great. Digital Underground, but when gangster rap, and the weird thing is Tupac came out of them. And not that I'm ragging on Tupac or anything, but Tupac, definitely leaned into the gangster lifestyle, which Digital Underground was, I think they were from, Oakland and, tough neighborhoods, but at the same time, they weren't the type of cats that leaned into like all the guns and violence. They were just good time, good fun hip hop, and in the best way. Good time, good fun music. All the naming, the categories, we're all learning that everything's vibrations, and some things have lower vibrations and some things have high vibrations. And Digital Underground, especially the Humpty Hump dance, had the best best groove, best bass groove, and the best hand claps ever. I remember Beck talking. I like Beck. I think Beck is a good artist. I think he is always kind of funky. I think the Midnight Marauders album is, up, not fully Prince level, but getting near there. Definitely, like in terms of when Childish Gambino started doing like Prince type of singing and beats, and even Pharrell started doing Prince like type singing and beats and stuff. Like Beck was playing with that shit from like the beginning of his first couple albums, and then he kind of went all in on the Midnight Marauders album. No, that's Tribe Called Quest. What's that fucking crazy? I'm a little, I think it's a lot of the technology. You could be like, oh, Robs, you getting old and smoking too much weed. No, I'm not. All right, I'm doing this podcast and I have a lot of knowledge about music. In the one song I was thinking of that was the gang M.O.P. Mobb Deep, Annie Up. Oh yeah, Annie Up. That I love that energy, even though it's pretty much about the stick-up kids of New York, which is people that would come up and rob you. And that was a big thing in the early 90s. I think it is today, but it was almost like, a thing. Let's see. Because okay. Then we got M.O.P. and then what was the Beck joints? Nicotine. Midnight Vultures. That's not Midnight Marauders. Nicotine and Gravy. Oh, man. Peaches and Cream. Nicotine and Gravy. Those are some bad joints by Beck. But he was just saying like, and he's kind of on that, I'm trying to debate like what art is, but he, his shit was artistic, He went on the artistic vibe. So does Erykah Badu. And that's why they fucking last. Like you can go fucking try to make a money grab, but your shit's gonna eventually be fucking whack. I think the key is to keep on changing and evolving and definitely do different than everybody else. And that's what Humpty Hump did. And that's just the perfect party jam. And that's all hip hop music is just fucking party jam music, man. I mean, you just want something to hang out with your friends and smoke herb and goof off with and get to the next show. But some people use it, so, I don't know. Art has all kinds of like layers. There's entertainment. There's appreciation. There's inner reflection. There's political. That's the only thing about not having a lighter. I gotta light a bunch of matches. And I hope I don't burn this shit down. But this wasn't the most perfect. It's done pretty well. I'm talking the spliff. How are my sounds? Okay, there we go. I don't know. It wasn't picking up earlier. That's a little bit better. I'm still working and learning about audio design. Like we're up to 124 episodes weekly. I've edited and participated in every one. And I've done this just for you. And I want you to like and subscribe. Hey, roll up some CBD and some good herb, a half a joint, and grab a glass of green tea and finish out the episode with me. Because we're gonna take a funky ride. Yeah, I was in the studio. I rented out this studio. Well, it was just like 2 hours with the engineer in a space, and it was COVID friendly. Like it was just me and another dude, and I was a lot in the booth, and I had my mask on, so I never saw him. So it kind of worked out to be like the perfect creative outlet. Like I do know the clubs are opening up and people are doing more and more stand up, and I'll get out there and I want to do the podcast and have guests out there. And that's where we're going to go. We're going to go and we're going to do outdoor shows. We're going to do just like me and a guest or me and myself. And the palette is still open. The painting is still being created with the Cannabis Coffee Hour. having a nice spliff and a little bit of glorious green tea, CBD green tea. Jeez. You know, the future is going to be a little bit different. Even how I think people approach fame and celebrities and the manipulation of power. That's what a lot of it is, you know, is motherfuckers can't understand. They get a little bit of power and then they manipulate it in order to receive more and more pleasure. And the thing about pleasure is good, but it also makes you soft. That's what's nice about finding your work. And when I say work, I mean just your purpose, just stuff that you want to lean into what you like. I tell you what's a really good Kerwin Frost and the neck face interview with Kerwin. I like graffiti artists, and I like the skateboarder out of the box thinking, like, but I don't like negative nihilistic type shit. But I do think neck face is dope. Does that make sense? Like pause vibes all the way. And I think he had a great story. Like he was, you know, vagrant, criminality artist, graffiti, skateboard, dirtbag. But he said his mom never, you know, told him not to when he was drawing. And that's the thing about creative pursuits is like, it's hard. You don't want to, if once somebody finds that thing, you don't want to stifle it. But because I guess Kerwin Frost was talking about his little brother. This is, you know, YouTube shit. But he was talking about how his little brother was drawing like somebody peeing on a tree or something, and his mom freaked out because I think there were schlongs in it or whatever, and made him stop drawing, and it kind of fucked him up. And yeah, you can't stop. Yeah, you can't tell people. It's hard telling people what to do. It's almost like plants. You got to frame them though. But being, you know, you got to guide, and as parents and you know, also friends, and you know, we all have aunts and uncles and nephews and siblings and friends that we care about. But it's hard it's like I'm just trying to learn the hint. Like, motherfucker, take a hint. Can you take a hint? And I think that's what God is, or whatever the universe is telling us. And that's the hint I took, was just to take a deep reflection and look inside myself. And what I found is that I love myself. Not in a narcissistic way. I think that is one way of like building up your self-esteem. You know, I'm a bad motherfucker. You just saying all this shit. But there's another level that I'm trying to get to, that's more biological, like looking at things without the ego, but then also seeing for what it is. And I just know what I've been through, you know, and I'm grateful that I've made it through all of it. And I'm grateful for all the lessons I've learned. I'm grateful for, you know, just being humble within it all. Or I can't say humble, but learning. That's a hard lesson. I don't know. It's a tricky one. Like, you got to stand up for yourself and you got to promote yourself and all that. But just that, me, look at me dancing in the end zone all the time. Like, you could do it now and then, but I don't know. Having an apple, chilling out, drinking some green tea. Yeah, Humpty Dance. I love the Digital Underground. All around the world, the same song. Yeah, they had a couple joints, but they were in some weird movie with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd that wasn't that good, but they kind of steal the scene, and they do this great performance of Same Song, which is definitely more of a pacifist, you know, De La Soul hippie love vibe than any other hip hop that was bubbling after it. But Tupac's in it, so it's kind of funky. Some heavy stuff. But the sun is out and people are getting vaccinated, but I have to travel to Michigan. I got to drive. That's why I had I'm packing in stuff all this week. And I did a great show. Shout out Man, I had a fun ass show that was on a Zoom. Nikki Max's show, Vintage Basement, part of Dynasty Typewriter. And, doing Zoom, I don't even know. I hooked up my microphone and my Focusrite, and I found a basement that, was late, so I got a family and shit. I can't be loud. So I found a basement I could go hang out in, and I recorded a comedy, like a live stream comedy show. And they put me on first, and it was just a great lineup. It was myself, this girl, Lizzie Cooperman, who's really funny and interesting and creative and shit. And then Mike Kaplan, who's one of my good friends, great joke writer, great dude, out there. So he's like a ayahuasca supreme master. And then Frankie Quinones, who's one of the funniest guys out there right now. He has a character on IG, and he was shout out to Creeper, my boy Creeper. And Frankie was everybody on this weird Zoom show I did for April 20th for 420 were awesome. And I kind of just was like yelling into my computer, but it ended up being funny somehow. It was just a lot of fun. I could just tell that I still got it. Not that I still got it, but at least I still have there's something in there that's sparking the funny. And I could do it over Zoom. But I read a big article about not catching corona outside, which I always felt a lot safer when shit was outside. Like, I didn't really mind meeting up with people when they were outside. I would always mask up and shit, but I just know I'm not biology, but just like how shit works. Like, I just knew, like, in these stores and subways and cars, and everybody's just spitting and droplets and funk, and nobody's brushing their teeth right. And I knew, and then people were spitting in each other's mouths and weird porn. I know I talked about that shit, but that's when the universe shut it all down. I know I'm making light of that, but I'm trying to make light of it a little bit. Because it's a hard, awkward time. But I do believe doing this podcast, I get a lot out of it, and I enjoy it. So I have to drive to Michigan from New York, and I'm not really psyched because the numbers are going down. I'm going kind of up. Like, didn't Ted Nugent just got the corona after talking for years, talking for over a year about how it's a farce and nothing, and then the shit he catches it. It's like, dude, there's nothing political about this. It's biological, man. It's germs and the amount of people and the funk, man. And we just got to be smarter and more environmental and actually healthier to ourselves. I totally take vitamin D pills. I take Emergency. I take COC10. I take vitamin D. I take vitamin E every night. And then I stretch and I try to eat healthy. And with my cannabis intake, I try to be not macho frat dude about it. I try to, treat it with a little bit of respect. If we're going to roll up, I'll roll up the right place and right time and, But you never appreciate a lighter until you lost it. Or they run out. I remember that from the road. I remember getting to towns and then somehow like scored some herb from somebody on the wait staff, or you knew somebody, and then you get back to your weird hotel room and you realize you didn't have a lighter. And that's the weird thing. There's no matches anymore. Everywhere there used to be matches. And you can't get really, it's hard. That's why I always liked boutique hotels, because you can open the window. When you start dealing like the mass chain, they got those two, like everything's like sealed up. so people don't jump out the window or get sued, or they got randos up in there. So they're not really ideal for having some herb on the road. But I remember just how bad it would be if you didn't have a lighter. Like sometimes you would just be stuck, and you would have everything that you would have, some herb, you would have papers, you would have everything but the electricity, and you're like, oh shit. And you're in some weird town that everything closes at 10, and it'd be like 12:31, and you'd just be like, all right, I'll have to sleep it off and go to the gas station in the morning. So it's good to be prepared, I guess is what I'm saying. Always have some kitchen matches. These are these strike anywhere matches, but that never works. I've bought in all kinds of strike anywhere, but it's always like, oh, but you got to do it on a really hard tree, or you can't do it on a metal. You got to do it on this thing. And then there was always like these tough guys that would light matches off their teeth. Like, that was a big thing in the 80s. But I don't know. I think that was just some type of Hollywood trick. Or some people could. Like, they're these self-lighting matches. Like, you could rub. And I guess the flint just, like, kicks up. Sorry, I have to keep on toking or the thing runs out. That's what kept on happening. But we got to keep on talking. Because there's just so much to talk about, man. I'm doing my 5 Tibetan stretches, the 5 Tibetan rites. I've been getting good. I mean, I try to do it at least 3 times a week, but I also don't want to be so regimented. Like everything, I'm trying just to let it flow a little bit. These days I do this, these days I do that. Treat the body good. The body is a temple. You try to eat right. Sleep is a big thing these days. I know people are losing it because of insomnia. And, CBD I definitely think can help for that. Oh, there it went. You might have to hear another kitchen match. I think let's count how many I've lit. Oh, 3. Okay. I hope it was 3. I don't want any. All right. I'm just very mindful with, fire. But I did go through a little bit of a back in the, when I was growing up, people would flick matches, lit matches. You ever do that? Like, because you get them free at the gas station. You go, that's a mean kid trick. And then the other one was burning dandelions. Like when you go over, you would get your pack of matches. This is like beginning arson shit, but you would burn a dandelion. It does look amazing though. If you've ever burned a dandelion, it is, because you just touch the thing and like the whole thing melts. It's pretty wild. But that's the type of thing that you learn young. We're all growing and learning, and you take all these lessons. There is a knowledge to it. Like, that's what I was thinking about it. There is a magic to living long and experiencing and making a lot of mistakes, because your knowledge base and your decision making gets hopefully better, because you just have been through shit. So on the fly, I got to make decisions, and I'm getting a lot more confident on making decisions on the fly, because nothing's set up perfect, and if it was, it wouldn't work. That's a good green apple. Yeah. I've been listening to Lightning Hopkins. This is like one of the biggest blues guys ever. And I guess I go back and forth with the blues it's more of a deep tone. It's more of a minimalist aesthetic that I find pretty dope. I hope that doesn't, there's a B&H. But this song, listen to the title of this song. It's a sin to be rich, but a low down shame to be poor. That's by Lightning Hopkins, this blues artist. And that is possibly the best title for a song. It's a sin to be rich, It's a low down shame to be poor. Yep. True. So yeah, I've been listening to, check out Lightning Hopkins. Check out the Humpty Dance for sure. And then this all-girl band from the 70s I went down called Fanny. And they were like, they ain't that peculiar. I listened to this one live version. Ain't that peculiar. I hope that doesn't show up. Damn. Check out this video, man. The Beat Club, Fanny, Ain't That Peculiar, 1972. But you have to go into, because they start the song and then they stop. You have to go into like minute 24. But she does this thing with this percussions. It's like an all-female group, and they're funky and good and not cheesy and cool. Oh, man. They were beyond ahead of their times. And then I Wikipedia'd her, and she got into Buddhism and lives in Woodstock, the lead singer. So, that's where people roll. I might end up there one day just meditating. I love that shit. But at the same time, you gotta like be in reality, and you gotta take those lessons, and you gotta use those lessons and move forward. And I think all of them, Christianity, Judaism, all of it. Use it all. Mix it up in a big pot like gumbo, and whatever sticks to you and works with you and makes you your higher self, and not a scumbag dirtball asshole. Whatever works for you to, get it moving, do that. I don't know. You got everybody. That's what I'm trying not to worry. Nature takes care of itself. I definitely think that the country or the world needs to be more green, and I think global warming, this shit's coming on fast. But other people may turn away, because I do think nature has a way of balancing out, but I do think that's where humans have to get involved and be more conscious of their decisions and how we're interconnected, and that's kind of where we're growing. So I'm not saying like don't eat meat or go green. I am just saying that eventually fossil fuels is going to be off the table, But I have a fossil fuel car right now. I don't have a hybrid. I wish it was. I think in 3 years I could trade it in, and I'll try to get it kind of the hybrid version. I think all cars. I went to the DMV to do I had to re-up my driver's license. I'm making this trip, so I got to service my car. I went to the DMV, made sure all my shit's correct. Because I'm making a trek back and forth. Going to visit family in Michigan, hang out there for a week. I'm going to go to Traverse City for a minute. I'm going to try to dodge droplets. Any dispensaries out there? I should do a podcast out there. I may hit somebody up. I know a few people out there that would be fun to have on the podcast. Whether it's, I try to lead in either comedy or cannabis or music. Kind of is where I'm kind of leaning on for potential guests and the vibe of the show. But I also like just artists in general and interesting people. Non-cornballs, non-conformists, but not overly judgy. I don't know if that's a thing. I might have to fire this up. But this show I did was so much fun. Shout out to Max and Nikki. It was a fun Zoom show. I just think live streaming, the whole idea of live streaming, I know I'm old and I don't get it. I mean, I know what it is. I understand it. But I think it's going to be an element to mainstream entertainment from now on. Like the live performance or the live this or, something that it's like, it's a happening. And then everybody can tune in. I mean, D Nice did that on IG, and it's just, that potential was always there, but I think people are now utilizing it in the technology's catching up to the point where it's actually fun. I guess that's what I was trying to make. So the show was called Vintage Basement, and then they cut to me, like they introduced me to do stand-up. And I have a stand-up mic and everything, and I'm standing up, and I'm shooting from my laptop that's on a chair, so it's like pointing up at me. And I had to do this weird angle because it's, I didn't have the right lighting. And I had like a little bit of a roach. So right when they introduced me, I'm like hitting a roach, and I go into my set. And I remember I was like, this could be terrible. It's just one of those things that you think is going to be terrible, but if you just let go and have fun with it, there was a lot of, like I went back and reviewed the tape. I was like, shit, there's all kinds of funny that I didn't even see. I didn't even know was happening. That's why I like doing these solo ones. So everybody, you gotta sign up for the Patreon coming up. That's the only way you're gonna see my face. I think we're gonna have cool guests. I'm gonna have music guests. I want to get it really popping and funky, and I'm gonna quit talking about it. We're gonna just do it. I got some merch coming through. I'm just excited. I'm just really excited. I'm excited about the music project. I'm mixing it. All this stuff takes work, but it's the shit I like. And for a good reason, everything is slowed down. So I've been able to get my feet underneath myself. Like I just feel a lot more, I'm confident about going into I've learned not to, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. You got to bob and weave. But I do feel like my mind and body, and I don't know. I hope I live a lot longer because I'm loving life. Ja Rastafari. Dub music is so good. Not so good, but there is a vibe I like. I love dub. I love echoey type of beats, and I love seeing those sound systems in Jamaica. And I would love to just do a DJ set. I would like to do that. That's one thing I should do for the Cannabis. One time I'm just gonna come, but I gotta figure out, like, when D-Nice or some of these guys, these big time DJs, not even seen Questlove, but they're playing like number one, like they're playing like songs I know they don't have the rights to broadcast, but somehow it's all right if you're DJing or something. I don't know. Everything's moving fast, man. Media is changing. Cannabis is changing. Environment's changing. Transportation's changing. Music's changing. And I think just minimalism, just like the simplicity, what I was thinking about was nothing. And the thing about deading your ego is like, you can understand nothing, and then you understand how beautiful life is, and that it is just this like trippy dream reality or trippy dream painting thing that kind of goes with your vibration. And you do have a chance or a pocket to change your vibration by doing little things, little simple changes in your attitude and just the way you look. That's why I try not to walk around with my head down. I think a lot of stuff is your posture. A lot of your stuff is your spine and your posture. Because if you can get that going, because I know as you get older, you just get more crumped down. I just see it. I see the weight weighing on motherfuckers. And I've had the weight weigh on me. And I've felt the weight. I've felt like eating shit and getting all scrunched over and anger and jealousy. And I don't want to. I just don't want to live like that. I want to go walk in the park, get some sun on my face. That's what I got to do today. I'm going to do that. And do some push-ups. Like I said, I don't like to, I'm trying not to be too regimented, but I do know with art, like I need to be a little bit more regimented with my writing. But I also got to be good to myself and understand that, hey, maybe I don't write like these cats, but figure out what the times that it did work and, do that over and over again. And with the times it did work is when I do sit down. Everything I do is kind of a hybrid of everything, Like, I'm not just a straight joke writer. I'm not just a straight storyteller. I'm all of it. Same thing with music. Cats sit down with me and I'm playing all kinds of crazy shit, man. I'm into metal. I'm into punk. I'm into opera. I'm into fucking melodic music, tones. I've been listening to a lot of like meditation, like just tones. Sometimes tones just clean you out. And sometimes nothing. There's a beauty to nothing that you can't even get your head around. Alright. I may light this one more time. And this apartment's gonna smell more like matches than anything else. Because I'm like, damn, I had my pink lighter, I had my Dipset lighter that I've had for a long time. When you get a lighter and you're like, oh, this is my lighter. It feels like I've had this since I was in college. It was one of those. But you always lose them. Same thing with bowls. Like the other night, one night I got my glass in it, one hitter just fell and shattered. And everybody was out of town, which was nice. And I had to mop the whole thing up. And shit breaks. Shit falls apart. Famous Roots song. So yeah, I went to the studio and I'm recording a song. And I'm trying to do it one song at a time. But I'm trying to do the best I can. And I know that music has to be mixed. It has to be mastered after it's done and lined up right. So I know that's a part of it. I'm just putting it all together. And I'm excited to roll it out. I am doing a comedy festival in October in Roanoke, Virginia. Keep eyes out for that. Like and subscribe to Cannabis Coffee Hour. You can contact me at contact@robcantrell.com. This episode was brought to you by Cannabis Green Tea. Well, it's just hemp green tea. I'm not too lucid right now. I'm like kind of chill. And then a cannabis joint, but it was mostly, it was CBD with sprinkle it, E40 style. Love the Bay Area. I can't wait to get back to California, up to the Bay Area. When I say California, I think mostly San Francisco and Oakland and like Humboldt and up there. But I like down south too. But I like all over the country. I'm looking forward to driving through the Midwest. I mean, I went to college in Ohio, so I know a lot of that state. I got to tour. I did a bunch of theaters with Ralphie, man. I've had a cool fucking stand-up career when I look back at it, like all the gigs that I've done. Because Ralphie and I did these huge theaters, and I got paid great, and we were on a tour bus, and it was all of Michigan and Ohio. That was one of his routes. And he had a regular opener, but I jumped on for like a few months before he passed away, and he was awesome. Rest in peace, Ralphie May. Rest in peace. Fuck, man. Shock G. Everybody. Not everybody. But that's just life, man. And it just teaches you gotta appreciate. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to this podcast. I appreciate this moment. I appreciate this tea. I appreciate him getting